Hi, I'm Parker.
And I'm Tim.
And this is the Rage Podcast, where today we're going to talk about the future and what it beholds for us in the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. If any of you have ever seen, I don't know, like the Terminator or the Age of Ultron or something, you might be very interested in our topic today. We want to talk about artificial intelligence. And this comes from an article Parker and I read that was on our Google News feed, that apparently there's a new robot coming out called Sophia.
Sophia.
And Sophia is and I'm going to call it because he or she, I'm just not comfortable with that. So I'm going to call it it. What it is a device that replicates a human. I mean, at least that's what it's supposed to do.
It's in the human shape.
Yes,
I guess is the best way you could say it.
But if you watch it move, it doesn't look very human. In fact, if you want to get on Google and look up some clips of Sophia, you may not sleep very well tonight. It's kind of creepy.
You needed to say a warning before you just said that.
Right. Well, we claim no responsibility for lost sleep after seeing that nightmarish image. But I just feel like that's what they're doing is they're trying to replace human interaction with not a human.
Yeah, and in the article I read is saying that this was getting big because of COVID, and they were I read it, and they were going to start putting a lot of them into nursing homes for nursing home residents who have lost, contact with a lot of their family due to COVID, not being able to, see them and in person to person. So they were putting these in nursing homes and in people who have been shut in because of COVID and everything. And I think to myself, how insane. First of all, the first thing that popped to my head, and I was like, how are they going to know how to use that?
Yeah.
And then
you ever watch an old person try to turn something on?
I was like, good luck with that. But then I was thinking, how sad that that's what we had to resort to, is making what God has already made so perfect, human nature and our connections that we have with each other, and trying to make a knockoff brand of us.
Yeah, and the really frightening part of that, because you're right, is the pandemic now gives us an excuse to create this thing, or not create, because it was probably already created.
It was around.
It's a marketing tool.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're marketing this thing. Now you can go buy a friend, and this friend will talk to you, and we'll have great conversations. And I worry about what that is, because what does the robot speak about? If I'm having a conversation with Parker, and Parker and I have these conversations all the time, not just on camera, Parker and I are interacting, and we're disagreeing, and we're fighting, and everything else, and then we figure out that Parker's probably right in the first place, and then we go on. So that's normally how these conversations go. But I don't know, does a robot reason like that?
But the scary thing is if, you all know, Siri and Google, and you can type into your phone and ask it a question, and it'll give you an answer back. Yeah, but this thing has been programmed to talk to you. It would engage with you first and ask, how are you doing today? Or, how was work? Do you want to watch TV? Because I was reading, and it could have control of all of your house pretty much. It gets a lot of information pretty quick and knows how to talk. And that's scary. That's just so crazy to think about.
And one of the things that Parker and I were talking about before we turned the camera on was, who protects us from this? If you have a domestic dispute between two people, you call the police, and the police comes and sorts it out to whatever degree. Mm-hmm. If nobody ever calls the police, though, to say, my can opener doesn't work, or my car isn't running. I mean, maybe some people do, but there's not much the police can do about that. So if the robot no longer functions properly, what do you do? Or if the robot comes after you, or somebody hacks it and makes it try to kill you.
Yeah, that's a big thing that you got to look at now. I mean, everyone, hacking's out there.
Yeah.
So I mean, that could be the next threat to our lives, is having, look at all the movies that were made about robots coming into society.
Yep.
And they never really end well.
Yeah, I really think they should have called this robot Skynet and just got it over with. But Yeah, and that's the really scary part of this, is the fact that not only are they trying to replace humans with a I can't even say I don't even know what it is. It's not a copy, because it's not.
Yeah.
But the problem is the interaction that you have. What I'm assuming is the robot is programmed to learn from you. So if you happen to say, baseball, for example. Yeah. The robot's going to get online and learn about baseball, and they're going to tell you statistics and everything else, because that's what you want to hear, much like Siri would. But once you start to realize you're not just giving commands to a device and it's spitting things back at you, and you start thinking you're having an actual conversation where the robot says basically whatever you want it to say, that's not a conversation.
And that will be horrible. If that's where if our future holds the like workmanship and conversational skills of being robots, that's we're downhill. We will no longer know how to talk at all to each other. I mean, look at what the cell phone has done.
Yeah.
Through like look at the statistics of when the cell phone came out and like throughout all of now, how our relationships have just declined. We just text like calling. I know even myself. I don't call anyone really. It's all texting. You don't talk. It's like. And this thing is just another thing to add onto the list of what would take away.
Yeah, and the reason that this is worse than what Parker's describing is there's, at least when you're texting, there's a person on the other end.
Yeah, there's another person in control of what the response is.
With Sophie, that's not the case. Or Sophia, that's not the case. And you're talking to a machine that's programmed to speak back to you. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what the difference would be between this and talking to yourself in the mirror, really.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just, and even if how Tim said, look up the video, I hope they do something. If they're going to come out with that, hopefully they fix the way it talks.
Yeah, because the mouth movements are creepy.
The mouth, it moves. It has a mouth and it moves and it's a robot guy.
Yeah.
It is very very scary to think.
Yeah, it's very plastic
that
looking.
This was created.
Yeah.
Is the scary thing.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the advancements of technology and all those wonderful things, but taking that into this human shape to replace certain connections and relationships that we have with people, that's what's really terrifying.
Yeah. And the thing is as bad as we're all getting at talking in relationships anyways, where marriages, people don't talk to each other, families, people don't talk to each other, nobody sits around the table to eat anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, people used to actually do that, sit around a table just like this one for supper. I don't do that anymore. And the thing is since we're losing touch with so much of that, now you're inventing a device that will basically tell you you're right all the time. Which, if any of you who do have human interaction know that that's not how that usually works. Our communication skills are going to get worse. Because now when you go talk to an actual person after having a conversation with Sophia and that person doesn't just agree with everything you say, now your skills are even worse. You're actually going downhill.
Well, the real crazy thing is like and this happens to my mom all the time. She's on Facebook or something, but she'll be talking about something to like me or one of my sisters or her sister, and it will pop up on her phone when she goes to look at it.
Yeah.
And like technology has invaded so much of our life. Like when we don't even see it. Like you'll be talking like my dad got a foot massager for Christmas. Something completely out of the blue. But he got a foot massager for Christmas. So we start talking about the foot massager. Next thing you know, an ad for like 3 foot massagers come up on my mother's Facebook. It's crazy. It is odd to think that our information and our kind of conversations are out there somewhere, probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And now what they're doing is they're introducing a device that is designed to get information out of you.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of it from that way. You're right. Because now you're going to be having
You're literally telling them instead of it picking up on what you say, you're telling them what you know and what you want.
Imagine how much information about you is flying to the World Wide Web at that point. That's crazy.
It's scary to think about. It's kind of like you have your personal space a little bit, but with technology, I feel like we just don't have it. It's all you're always connected with someone, and your information's out there.
And now you're talking to somebody who has access to 7 billion people or something like that.
Yeah.
There is so much downside to this idea that's amazing. And the fact that these things are going to be marketed and they're going to be purchased and put in people's homes, old folks' homes and things like Parker was saying. That's exactly what their original purpose was. I mean, how many people have said something in their home that you don't necessarily want to be public? I mean, I know I have. And now you've got some body. I don't know if that's the right thing to say. Some body in your home.
Human shaped.
Yeah, human shaped. That you might forget that. Oh yeah, you're not a real person. However, your brain is now the internet, and whatever I say is out there. And man, the possibility for exploiting that is amazing. It's just really horrible.
Yeah, it's different to think. It's not like Siri at all. It's you're telling it everything.
Yep.
And that's where the line I think we need to draw right now. Technology's already advanced so far. We need to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep. So just turn it off and then pull it.
Yeah, you turn it off. Well, now with that being said, Parker and I are going to sign off for this week. We appreciate you all being here, and watch out for your devices. They may be out to get you.
Yeah, and especially if you watch that video, you've been warned.
Yeah, you've been warned. We tried to tell you. So if you now have insomnia because you watched the creepy robot face, Parker and I cannot be held liable. So have a great week, everybody. And
see you next week.
Good night, sleep.